Hello and welcome to the weekly San Jose State football press conference. Today is Monday, November 12th. Happy Veterans Day to you all out there, and we certainly extend our thanks to all the men and women serving in the armed forces and have served in the armed forces for the United States. San Jose State football at home for the final time at home this season inside CEFCU Stadium on Saturday to take on the Nevada Wolfpack. A 2 o'clock kickoff from CEFCU Stadium. It's Beer Fest at CEFCU Stadium. A lot of events going on leading up to it on that day as well. You can get tickets at 408-924-7589 or sjsuspartans.com. Another note to pass along, the game time at Fresno, the Fresno State, the final game of the year, is now 4 o'clock on ESPNU. That's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, 4 o'clock on ESPNU from Fresno. We now welcome in San Jose State head coach Brent Brennan.
Hello. Thanks for being here. Obviously, the Utah State game was a really tough one for us as a program. They're a very, very good football team. They're well coached. They've got good players. They play really hard. I think they're really mature, and they were impressive. And so they deserve all the love and the publicity they're getting because they're very, very good. Tough night for us. We got some guys banged up, and there were moments in that game where it looked like it was going to be a football game. Midway through the second quarter, where we're playing hard and we're making some plays, and it's a fair fight. And then we had a 8 or 9 minute stretch on both sides of the ball that just really hurt us, and we couldn't recover from. So, like I said, congratulations to them and the heck of the season they're having. We've already turned our attention to Nevada. Again, I feel like we're playing, a very, very hot football team right now. They're playing very good. Coach Norvell and that staff have done a nice job with that thing in the short time. And their quarterback is outstanding. They've got a real veteran group on both sides of the ball, and they're playing really, really well, as seen last week when they played Colorado State. So, incredible challenge for us coming into our last home game of the season. And it's going to be a special day because we do have 15 seniors that we're saying goodbye to or getting to play in their last game. We still have to go on the road to Fresno, but I'm sure it'll be a special day for all of them, and it'll be a special day for me. These guys in this class have been incredible for me in my first 2 years here. They've been very supportive. They've been great leaders, great teammates. They've really done everything we've asked them to do, and I am thankful to them. I'm appreciative of their leadership, and I'm going to miss them.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
With a couple games remaining, how difficult could it be, or is it to keep everybody motivated moving forward and with everything that's going on?
Well, I think it's a simple answer is what choice do you have, really? And I think if you're motivated by getting better and motivated by competition, we have 2 games left. And so the important thing for us is we continue to try and build our program and continue to try and develop the football team and our players. Is every chance to practice, every chance to play is a chance to improve and a chance to compete. And if we are going to make the strides we want to make, we need to continue to improve every day.
Hey, Coach. Utah State seemed to take advantage of most, if not all, of San Jose State's mistakes. A lot of people know that the Aggies have a good offense, but what are a few things about Jordan Love and company that they don't know?
I think maybe the running backs have played well. I don't think I knew how good they were until I saw them in person, even though they're not very big, incredibly powerful and hard to bring down. I thought they did a really good job, breaking tackles and that kind of stuff. The other thing that's hard to see, I would think, when you're watching a game on TV is the tempo. The tempo that they play with is, to me, it reminded me of when I was coaching at Oregon State and we were playing Oregon with Mariota and those guys and how fast they were just on you, every snap.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
So what can you say about trying to defend Nevada's offense that had a good deep passing game last week?
Yeah, I think everything runs through their quarterback, and he has really become a fantastic player. I believe he's out of Ventura College, and he is just continues to connect on the deep balls. Elijah Cooks is a really good receiver, and again, they're doing a great job. I think they're maybe 3 or 4 seniors on the offensive line, so they just have a really mature group up front, and those guys are doing a nice job of protecting the quarterback and giving him a chance to make those throws downfield. And they mix it up with some really good run game also, so there's a nice balance to their offensive scheme.
So, Coach, you mentioned Utah's tempo and pace, and I know you know Coach Wells pretty well, and he kept the pedal to the metal to the last part of the fourth quarter. Any thoughts or feelings on how he just kept things going?
No, I think anytime you're playing, I thought Coach Wells did a great job. Most of his starters came out, earlier than that, and they're playing. They're just like we were, and I think that's one of those things that when you're in a game, whether you're like up ahead like they were, they got young players that need to play and develop, and we got players that we need to develop. So you're still playing football, and it's your job to either defend it or to make the plays on offense. So I think everyone was just playing football, and I thought I thought Coach Wells was incredibly respectful of our team.
Coach, San Jose State had their fair share of big plays, and Trey Walker had himself a day. But right now, what could you and the other coaches do during practices to make sure that pass plays lead to scores?
Well, I think there's just a consistency there. I thought on Saturday we dropped too many passes, and I thought there was a couple of breakdowns in protection, but for the most part the protection was better. But that was one of the things that I thought we came out of that game. We dropped too many passes, some balls that were on the money. I thought Michael Carrillo went in there and threw the ball well. So I think continuing to kind of work on those details of just absolutely specific depths on routes and how we're catching the football and where the ball placement is by the quarterback are things we need to work on.
Okay, and Nevada has generally been a very high-scoring team as well. What are some of the main points of emphasis in practice leading up to this game?
I feel like everyone we play is high-scoring. It's week in and week out. I think that's it's been an interesting part of this season so far. But they, like I mentioned earlier, everything runs with them through their quarterback, and so we have to do a great job of giving our guys a great look with that. Their running backs it's kind of by committee, although their freshman is an awesome player, Toa. He is an awesome player as a young guy. He's going to be a great player in this conference for a long time. So that presents its own challenges. You have a quarterback who throws accurately and makes good decisions, and then you back it up with a very veteran offensive line and a really good run game. So our defense is going to be challenged in lots of ways, and so I think it's important that we do a good job simulating the looks in practice this week. We're still planning out practice for tomorrow, but I think we need to change our process a little bit just because we need to get we're a little bit banged up, and we need to get some more players involved so that we can give them a kind of a ones versus ones look of what that scheme's going to look like and feel like.
Coach, we're going to head to the phone now, and Brian Stanley's on the line from the Santa Maria Times. Brian, one question for Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Josh Oliver has been an important part of your offense all season long. What about his performances has been beneficial to the team, and how is he going to play an important role in the final 2 games?
Well, I think anybody who watches us play knows that a lot of our offense goes through Josh. He's really effective at both as a run blocker and as a route runner, pass catcher. So we depend on Josh Oliver for lots of things. As you know, he's a tremendous young man, incredibly hard worker, and he deserves all the love and attention he's been getting because he's really, really played well.
Recruiting philosophical question. I know you don't talk about it too much, but let's say you have two players you can get. One's a 2-star, 5-star attitude, and then you have the reverse. One scholarship to give one or the other. Is that just a curiosity question there?
So I have a choice between a 5-star player with a 2-star attitude or a 2-star player with a 5-star attitude. Oh, that's really maybe depend on what position he plays. If the attitude was something that, the hard part about that is the talent is fixed and the attitude is something you can work on, right? And so I think that would depend. I would have to know that young man pretty well before I'd make a decision like that. But with our team, with kids we recruit, it all starts with attitude and character. We talk about that all the time. We want good young men coming into this program who are going to represent San Jose State University and our program the right way. So that's, I would think that would be a tricky one. It would probably depend on how well I knew the young man, that kind of thing. And it would definitely depend on what position.
Coach, you've already mentioned that San Jose State will honor 15 seniors before this Saturday's kickoff versus Nevada. And I know there's not much to be proud of in terms of the current record, but what are you most proud of when it comes to this group of guys?
What I'm most proud of this group of guys is easy. It's how they've continued to work and push the team, even though we weren't getting the results on Saturdays that we wanted. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, since I've been here, this current group of seniors has been outstanding in every way. They're good in the classroom. They work really hard in practice. They lead the team. I'm so appreciative of how hard they've worked to help us move this program in the direction we want to take it. I'm disappointed we haven't gotten the results for them. That really hurts me.
Coach, back to the phones again. Brian Stanley. Brian, one question for Coach.
Yeah, you touched a little bit on Toa. He's a hard-hitting running back that is known breaking tackles. What is the defense going to have to do to slow him down to contain him in the backfield?
Well, I just hope we can. We recruited Toa also. We watched him play last year. What a good player he was. And it's obviously translating to the college game. But any time you got to get lots of people to the ball carrier when you're playing a back like that runs with his combination of speed and power, and then you got to make sure you wrap up and get him on the ground. And that's something we didn't do last week at Utah State in some instances. So this is another great challenge for us to continue to develop as tacklers and finishers.
So Nevada looks to be another kind of complete team. I mean, how do you describe or characterize their identity and stopping them, basically?
Well, I think they're just playing with a huge amount of confidence right now. I think they've done a nice job with that. I think their quarterback has been a great stabilizing force for them with his consistency and his accuracy. But watch them play defense. I mean, they are an aggressive run to the football. They're playing their tails off. That staff there's done a fantastic job. Malik Reed is playing linebacker for them, but they rush him. They move him all around. He is lightning off the edge. He is Dwight Freeney. When I watch him, I'm like, oh, my goodness. He is a really good player. But they have good players everywhere. Nose tackle's a great player. Their linebacker, Lucas Weber, shows up all over the tape. They use him as a blitzer. They use him in coverage. They use him as he's a great space player. He's great coming after the quarterback. So this is a really dynamic defense that we have to deal with, and we really have a great challenge ahead of us. Go ahead, fire away.
Yeah, where would you gauge the program versus your expectations versus what you felt last year? Just general feeling or thought about that.
I think by everyone's standard, but especially mine, we're not where we need to be. Obviously, we haven't won enough games. I think we're improved. I feel like a lot of the conference games we played in a year ago were extremely lopsided, and that hasn't been the case until last weekend against Utah State. Now, we'll find out here in these next 2 weeks. We'll find out because we're playing two really good teams. But that's something that I'll be looking to see where we're at and what we're doing. I think we're developing a lot of young players, and I think a lot of our seniors are playing their best football since they've been here. And so I feel good about that. But unlike everybody else, we need to win more football games. We need to play better. And so we've got a lot of work ahead of us as a staff these last 2 weeks and then going into the offseason.
Coach, again, back to the phones. Brian, one more question for Coach.
I know you don't talk a lot about injuries, but do you expect Gaither to be back this season?
No. Bailey's been done since the Hawaii game.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. I wish Bailey was back.
All right, once again, San Jose State at home for the final time in the 2018 season this Saturday against Nevada. The Wolfpack in town. 2 o'clock kickoff from CEFCU Stadium on Senior Day. It's also Beer Fest at CEFCU Stadium. You can get your tickets at 408-924-7589 or sjsuspartans.com. That does it for us this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.